So, what's the deal with Bob Reed?
A really great magician that it's unlikely you've ever seen before. I bet if we were to just start checking him out, I think people would find out who he is even faster than we could tell you. Alex, do you feel like there's something to add?
No, I think that's probably the truth. I mean, if we just get into it, we're going to see the style of this guy. He's an English guy, and he's doing comedy, but he's using that comedy to just devastate you with magic afterwards. So it's a great combination, and I think he's very entertaining, and I think the magic is really great too. And we'll talk more about it after we see this.
I'm going to show you a trick. You can use a handkerchief. This is not a handkerchief. This, in fact, is a fragment of a religious relic. Where's Roger? Has he gone? He has, hasn't he? Roger, put your hand up. There's another bloody religious relic, I tell you. 1957 I saw it. This, in fact... It's a good job he has gone, I'll tell you. I've got a few bits about him now. This, in fact, is from... it's an Italian-Scandinavian religious relic. It's from the Turin duvet. You can only use that line once every 1,200 years. And when you hold it up to the light, you can just see a faint imprint of Britt Eklund's bum. And this was a favourite of my Uncle Mavis. Uncle Mavis is the one that had the accident with a bacon slicer. We sent him down a butcher's for half a pound of pork, and he came back without a sausage. And he loved this. Oh, I'm pleased you came, I tell you. He loved this trick. He got it from a book called Every Man His Own Doctor. And he treated himself from this book for 35 years and then died of a misprint. Yeah. He was on a 14-day diet of prunes, cenopods, and syrup of figs. He went down the shed and shot himself. Look, I'll tell you something. It gets no better than this, all right? You either enjoy this, it goes all downhill from here. Hypnotising an inanimate object, hypnotising a handkerchief. Well, please yourselves. You're a very rich audience. You've all paid for 2 or 3 seats, I see. Where's everybody else gone? Oh, they're the ones that saw me before. Hypnotising an inanimate object. Start again, shall we? Let's get the introduction again. We'll get it right. 15 years of hard practice and clean living. This handkerchief would do anything I say. Come, 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 come. Go, go, go. It's the hair on the handkerchief gag. You can't see from over there. I don't know who is worse. I mean, I might be doing it, 48 years old, prattling around with a little bit of... and you're watching it. I don't understand. This may look stupid, but this and no tie and a T-shirt got me out of the magic circle. About a karate expert, joined the army, killed himself with his first salute. There you have. Look, I'm doing my bit. Karate. Ah! Oh! Remember the 3 things. Don't let the small piece of wire fall out of the handkerchief. You've always got to pay for the secret. Excuse me. Did you like that? Aren't you clapping? I'll show you again. I was going to show you again in any case. Oh, that's not a real nose. That's not real. Yeah, you're the only one that misses this. You'll have a nose like that if you drank like I did.
Did it get hung up, or was that what happened?
It's a bad edit in the video.
This is it.
It's implied. You'll
You'll
get it
never
on the
know about
next.
that if you drank like I did.
Oh, I see.
Well,
Right. All right. So for those of you that don't really know Bob Reed, he was pretty famous. I mean, I would say really famous over in the UK.
Hmm.
You know, his comedy was. It's so weird watching sometimes Americans watching British comedy. We don't get a lot of the references. So, but the audience seemed like they were having a pretty good time.
you talking about Brick Etlin's Behind?
Yeah.
Okay,
You know, like that was some of that was over my head.
I think she was a movie starlet in the 70s. You know,
Apparently, she had a lovely bum.
she did.
enough so that everyone thought it should have been on the shot of Torrent.
I mean, apparently, if you just mention it, everyone agrees.
On the tour,
good
on
place
the,
to be.
on the Turin duvet.
Torrent duvet.
Exactly.
It's a pretty funny line.
The shroud of Turin, but this, I guess, would be the duvet.
The duvet.
Which, you know, anyone who's tried to go to the bathroom in France would, I think, had to ask what on earth that was.
Peter Sellers married Britt Ekland. Okay.
You know what? We have never, in all of the shows that we have watched where we have done this, we have never actually been in such rapt, silent attention for such a long period of time. I think that was the longest uninterrupted clip we have watched just because no one wanted to step on Bob Reed's timing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what else is there to say, you know, besides it was funny despite the references you didn't get, and the magic was wonderful, and, you know, just incredible stuff, right?
He definitely got a lot of use out of a rolled up handkerchief, and you know, he had 5 minutes of gags there. The tumbler though, the bottle. I mean, he was quite famous for that, producing the bottle, and he was one of the first guys that really got into like doing that on stage. Let's check out that. I know this is slightly different, but let's check out Bob Reed doing the transpo tumbler, because I know that's definitely one of his more famous things, right, Alex?
Yeah. Do you want to check out that other one? Let that one go. It's sort of a examination of it. He takes another look at this trick, and it's a real quick one. It's only a minute long, but that one that says coins, because he had basically this trick. He had what we just saw was like the prototype version of the trick. If you go back, I think we had a reference here in Genie 2004. Bob Reed's on the cover, and that entire presentation that we just saw with the nose and so forth, the fake noses and the coin production, that whole thing is laid out so that you understand the timing on when he actually does the bottle steal. So for those of you that are Genie subscribers, go online and go look up that issue, and you'll see that it's a really great thing. But this is another version of that bottle production, but just getting into it quicker without that giant comedy routine before it. So this is just getting to the meat of the actual production itself.
Part of the point of this particular talk is the sort of the way you stand in this direction. I want to show you a trick with a handkerchief, perfectly ordinary handkerchief, borrowed from the girl I live with. Well, not live with exactly. Share the same house. And this girl, she does the trick with a handkerchief. She works in a nightclub as a stripper. And she's so ugly, the audience shout, "Put it on, put it on." She bends over backwards and picks up the handkerchief in her teeth. And then she bends over backwards and picks up her teeth.
What an image.
There's a great trick with the handkerchief and the coins. We call her a happy motorcyclist. She's got dead flies over her teeth. But that easy come, easy go, I mean, a light to... What does this look like up there? Here we go. Now you stand in the corner of a pub and do the trick with the 4 coins and handkerchief. Did you like that? No, no, no.
Whoa!
just want to say that the actual misdirection on that was stellar, wasn't it?
Oh
You
my
can't
gosh.
see it unless you laser vision in on that moment. There's no way you can see it because it's so strong, even with it being on video. It's good.
I watched him do it, and I think John was saying I watched him do it at his lecture like 20 times in a row, and I've just never been beaten by the same thing 20 times. Like it's relentless how good he does it.
Let's watch it again. Let's just
Yeah,
watch
do
it.
it.
Let's
Yeah.
watch it. Just the bottle, just going into the bottle
When
production.
he reproduces the 4 coins and then the bottle. That's it.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah,
you
this
need,
is it
right?
here. Yeah, so watch.
Here we go. Now you stand in the corner of a pub and do the trick with the 4 coins and handkerchief. Did you like that? No.
Yeah, even when you're looking right at it, you can't see it.
Oh man.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
so good.
there is nothing to see.
Yeah, there's nothing to see.
Like we could go
so
frame.
quiet, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't even go frame by frame and really catch what he's doing. It's well covered.
Yeah. Economy of motion, no, nothing looks like it's pulling or anything. It's just perfect.
Exactly. You're exactly right.
And a great vehicle, right? Because the whole thing ends up being just like a palette. Like we saw 2 different versions of him just producing a bottle, but they're both a palette. Like one was his manipulation with a couple jokes. The other one was just the full on, I'm doing jokes with the dancing handkerchief, moving into this big piece. It's like a showpiece personality piece with the ring and the pseudo hair and all that, right? It's just a big empty canvas where he can just paint the picture that he wants to paint, knowing that at the end that bottle's coming and magic is hitting him right in the face. It's really so good.
Never seen Bob Reed until today.
Uh-huh.
So what was that trick called? You called something the tumbler?
The transpo tumbler.
I just want to point, but before we go to that, Sproul just asked when do you think he did load the bottle? I think what's interesting about watching this is there was one thing, just for you magicians. There's one thing I noticed here. So this is he's about to do the coin production, but this is how great his misdirection is. Notice how he looks to his right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a setup. This is just to prep you for what's about to happen. So he takes a moment, he looks to the right, and he throws his energy that way. So this is all part of the cover of producing this bottle. Now he's going to go back and produce the coins.
Now you stand in the corner of a pub and do the trick with the 4 coins.
And right here, Sproul, it's happening.
And look at how he's leaning to the table, and then think about what's going to happen with gravity and that giant bottle being delivered into that hand.
Yep. And right there is the moment it's happening. And you can't see it. It's so covered. But the misdirection also covered it so well.
No, he didn't. No, he
Like that?
tucked it in his pants, man.
No.
He didn't use a special pocket. He just carried that bottle like old school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
Definitely.
It's when
He was happy when he was done with that trick, because then he could actually bend over and do the rest of the act without having to worry about that bottle moving around.
and breathe.
I heard a thing about Bob Reed, Alex. He died doing a magic convention or something like that. Like
I had heard that too. Like the guy was in America to work. Basically, I would guess like for him it was a vacation, because magic wasn't his business, right? He had a real vocation that really paid it. That was the way he paid his bills, the way he lived his life. But magic was something that he loved, and I would guess that it was the way. I've talked to a handful of magicians that this is the case, that was their way to go on vacation. It was their way to go and see places, is that basically someone would pay to travel, to have you travel and do a lecture. You build in a little extra time and go live his life. But he was here to speak at the Magic History Conference and passed before he went home, which is, what a shame. What a shame.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I'd heard, something like that. So, no, yeah, you like that? Okay, thanks, Michael. Appreciate it.
New toys.
Good stuff. All right, yeah. So, Steve, you're talking about the Transpo tumbler. Shall we watch it? So we check it out?
Yeah.
Little more Bob Reed. All right. We had a couple of questions. Sorry. Will this be viewable later? Yeah, Lane, go to our YouTube channel, Conjure Community's YouTube channel. You can find it there. All right, here we go. Bob Reed, the Transpo tumbler, pretty famous for this trick as well.
£50 note, £50 note, £20 note. Just hold it up. you think we might have got more than one? Just hold one of those up, that's good. All right, anybody else got any money? I don't have to say, you just hold it up, you can keep it. Hold it high. Anybody else got any money? We need a choice. Multiple choice. Another 5, 10.
He's working, man. He's working.
And I think that room is packed full of people. You can hear there's like shows going on around it.
Sure you are. Okay, I'm going to show you the trick with the glass and a piece of paper. Are you very good at maths? Well, reasonable. Good at estimating? Yeah, okay. Where's the money? Oh, here we go. Okay. Would you mind if we use that one? I'll tell you why. It's just... Would you like to give it to the young man there? Tell me. What is the length, do you think? Estimate the length of that, just by looking at it. The length. What would you say it would be? That's absolutely right. You measured it? What's the width? 3 inches. That's pretty good. That's absolutely right. 5 inches by 3. Well, actually, you might want a bit smaller than that, all right? Oh!
Ouch.
This is what we're going to do. We'll do a trick with it. Look, if I put these two pieces... I bet you pleased I use his now, aren't you? Right, yeah, right. I can see that look of relief. Oh dear, put that away quick. If I put these 2 pieces, a £10 note in the pocket, pick the fingers, they're going to come back immediately under the glass. Right? If we're lucky. Not a bad trick, huh? You want to see another? Want to see another? I think it's going to attack me any minute. What the hell is this? So I'll throw a bucket of water over it. Right, I'll show you another. Yeah, that's what I thought. Dear, oh dear. I don't have to stand here for applause. Who said that? Who said I used 2? He's right. There's one for you, and thank you very much. And I'll use the other one. And this is what you do with the other one. You put the other one underneath the table like this. God, that hurts every time I do that. And that one comes all the way back underneath. What in the... Do you see the eyes on these potatoes? Tell you what I'm going to do. One more trick. If I put the £10 underneath the table, right underneath the glass like this, just here, or here, where do you want? There? Okay. How do you get the pound note into the glass? The £10 note into the glass. I'll show you. You've got it. Knock it through the table. What?
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool effect.
So good. I didn't see the ditch. I mean,
there were so many times he could have done it.
That's right.
The ditch,
Right.
there's so much.
He's got a lot of bluffs in there. So
And then I love when he sets it up in the beginning. Did you notice, like, he got it all wrapped, and then he picked it up for a second and did, like, the general move
right.
when nothing was happening.
Getting people used to that choreography, right?
Yeah, every move is scripted. It doesn't seem like it is, but...
Yeah. I wish there was another performance where he actually was engaging more with the spectators, but the only other performance that I could find of him doing that trick, the audio is even worse than that, and it's feels like less connection. But I bet when that guy was on and he's doing that thing and he had him with him right in the front, that it probably hit a little bit harder. But I think you get the gist of it there. So
yeah. What year was that?
That was in the mid '80s.
So that was in the mid '80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good 10 to 15 years before I ever saw him lecture. And certainly by the time I ever saw him lecture, seeing him in a club lecture was a very rare treat. Because what you were looking at, felt sort of like, almost like Blackpool when you work at a Blackpool Magic Convention. The close-up is in something called the horseshoe. And it's the outer ring around a banquet hall. And so they've got dividers up. They've got 9 sets of dividers and a close-up act with maybe 15 seats in front of it. And so it's really widely considered to be the worst acoustics you could ever have for a magic convention, for example. This seemed like something along that order, but worse. It felt like there was a lot of magic happening in the room, probably 5 or 6 other really heavy, good close-up acts working for 20 people, and just the acoustics were, did you notice how he came to the mic once and then just gave up?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because and you're doing like 10 sets. It's such a big magic convention, like you're working 10 shows that way. And it's like literally, I'm guessing, was that the one that was in the original training release a long time ago, Alex, that performance?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally the best video they even had of him doing it.
That's right. And the other thing is he's old school, right? He's not a guy that was going to ever wear a mic. Like, he's old school guy that's like, no, I put a mic in front of me 3 feet and I can work to that mic, like all the performances you see of him on stage, it's all that situation where he's basically projecting his voice to a microphone that's a few feet away from him. So he has, a range of motion and can work. And it's, Paul Daniels is a guy like that, right? Just an old school way of looking at it, because that's what the sound technology was when they were coming up and working in clubs. So that's the way they learned how to do it. And I don't think that guy was ever going to get wired up and wear a mic, It would probably restrict his freedom of motion, just having a wire hanging off his back. Because at that time, that's all that there would have been in the mid 80s is just, a wired lavalier mic or, maybe a headset microphone, but that might have still been too early for that technology.
And also in the mid 80s, to choose to video something was a big deal at that point.
That's right. Right. Videotape was expensive, and you had the gear, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Like nowadays, it's like, why don't you have a video, right?
Exactly. Well, everyone's carrying a movie studio in their pocket, essentially, right? We basically have like 70s and 80s technology. What they had for a movie studio, we probably have more than that just by what we have in a smartphone. So it makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's different times, and it's only the things like you're saying. Like it's interesting to see like some of these earlier things, and you look at it and you have to keep what you just said in mind, because like, why didn't they do another take? Why didn't they just shoot it again the next day? Because tape was super expensive. They had to bring all those people out that were professionals to shoot the thing, right? It's just it's a different time.
Well, not only that, it's like we're so keyed in right now. As you shoot a video, you watch it. Now let's do it again. Then it's like there's tape rolling. You have to stop it, kick to a mic. It's like a whole process.
Right, to even check it to see if it's good.
He didn't really want to do it.
No, I don't think
I guarantee he didn't want to do it. Totally.
Like, he had to work really hard to make sure that only 2 or 3 items that he ever did were even available to be seen at all. And he, I'm sure he did another 5 tricks, but he didn't even.
Tape wasn't rolling then, and he knew it.
What's really interesting too is like when you see a guy like that, he's like, it's that argument for magic is something that happens in that moment. Like it happens in a room with a bunch of people in that specific moment, and when that moment passes, it's just simply gone. And that's kind of like this guy, right? He hits a room, takes over the place, does his shtick, he's creating it for that moment, and then it's just gone.
We definitely have a different point of view on magic than any of these guys were ever going to have. If you think about, like, we're doing this, we're looking at footage of guys that we admire, and folks that we admire that perform magic, and we're able to do that. These folks didn't even have that as an opportunity. It was all imagination, stuff they read in books, maybe had an instructor or two that showed them, and then they had to go and work it out. Mm-hmm. So for them, they weren't probably ever thinking about the fact that someone's shooting a video and that there's something that comes after that, right? They're like, yeah, sure, I'll shoot this video for you, but don't rip me off, right? Other than that, they're thinking about the miracle. They're thinking about it real time, like Malini, right? That guy wasn't thinking about video. He's thinking about, how am I going to make a nuclear explosion in front of all these people right here so that they talk about me for the rest of their lives, right? I think that, video doesn't come into that conversation. Video is not part of that discussion.
No. And they didn't really want people having it much easier than they did. I mean, people always felt like they'd learned a craft and a trade.
Totally.
And they had to apprentice to do it. And they preferred it if other people had to go through some of the same effort. They didn't really want to break down and make it easier for other people. I mean, if you look, Bob Reed felt that he was the only one who had that trick in the world. Mm-hmm. Felt like he worked for 30 years to put it all together based on the other pieces, the wonderful tricks that we know that are a piece of it. Mm-hmm. It's a perfect, beautiful thing. He was really thrilled for no one to really be able to work that out. He wasn't looking to have that in the act of every person. Then, of course, you get a little older and perhaps you don't mind doing lectures on it, because when you have a set of lecture notes, not that many people are going to even get a piece of it, and you're going to be able to feel the enjoyment that gets to come from sharing it to some extent. But still, and all, certainly in that age group, in that school, well, the idea of actually doing the total open kimono teaching.
Yeah, right. We're accustomed to it now, but back then it was rare.
Right.
You know what else I notice about him also is that he's like one of these performers that are very much in the moment, right? So like he's not, it's not timed out. He's just playing the moment, playing the room. If someone says something, he has something to say to them.
He's a real comedian, right?
Yeah,
he's looking
like
for interaction to have something to give, right? He's looking,
yeah, exactly.
he's playing off of what happens in the situation. Yeah, you're totally right. And I think that's why all that magic stuff works, because he knows that eventually that's the plan, that thing's going to happen. And until then, we're going to play.
Yeah, we're going to get there. I'm in charge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, and you've got so many of those feints move, so much uniformity built into the shtick.
Right.
You can go any which way he wants because he's got it being established. He's coming back to it multiple times. He can just hit the button whenever he wants.
Right. Exactly right.
The structural stuff's already
bring it on home. Yeah. It's very good. Well, this last one is so cool. I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to see what you guys say about this one, because there were moments in this next one that I was like, oh no, it's really just a good.
I feel like I may have never seen this one before.
And John Gordon nailed it, right? So you're pretty smart, John Gordon. You knew what we were going to close with. That's right. This is his very famous. Well, I won't introduce it.
Just let it happen. It's good.
Yeah, let's just watch it. Can you see it?
Yeah, got it.
Take your jacket off for me. Just take your coat off for me. Appreciate that, Thomas.
I roll down my.
And hold the coat with the back out to the audience so everyone can see the back of it. That's absolutely true. I was doing this trick recently in Russia for the Moscow Young Conservatives. I remember when that used to be a joke. And over there we used a piece of their pravda. And this is what we did. And this a dagger I see before me, it's handled towards my hand. Got that from Macbeth. Wants it back in the morning. Now then, Thomas, hold your jacket out for me. Thank you so much. This is the knife. This is the star trap. And here is this wonderful jacket. I really appreciate this. That's nice. We've got a nice sort of a middle puncture just there. Tell me, Thomas, a very serious question. Do you want one vent or two? One or two. Here we go. Oh, that's not in the middle, is it? I can't hear you. Whoa! Good. This jacket. We just clear this up from the top. I know it's so expensive. I know. You're absolutely right. You're a really good sport. I want to thank you so much for helping me. There we go. We got it. I don't know this. Say nothing. Okay. Do you come here every year, Thomas? No. You don't? Oh, this is the last time, yeah? Okay. Okay, you know most people around here? Yeah, you know them on this side? Over here? Appreciate that, Thomas. You're a real good sport there. Yeah, you're really. Okay, you can hold it out nicely, that's right. A little bit over to the right there, that's good. We got it. For a minute, I didn't know whether that was you or me. My God. Okay. Oh yeah, a little bit of invisible mending. Thomas, I want to thank you very much indeed. You've been a real good sport. Thank you so much for the lonely new jacket. Let's just put it on. You can hardly notice it from the back. Here it is. That's good. Careful with the stitches. That's super. It looks terrific from the back. Oh, yeah, no problem. From the front. Come on, be fair. Everybody's wearing them like that these days. Come on, it's the latest style. You can walk down to King's Wardrobe, Chelsea, and Ben Whiting. I want to thank you very much. Just turn around. There it is. Oh, yeah, we say the magic word. Anybody know a magic word? Of course, it's abracadabra. Just, here you go, and in 5 minutes, that jacket will be just as good as when you got it from the Salvation Army. I want to thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Really cool. Wow.
That is like the best thing like it I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Totally.
I've never seen it done that good.
That's the best. Totally.
Yeah, that is. I've only seen one other magician actually perform that trick, and I think it was Caveney. Is that right, Aaron? Does Caveney do that?
Maybe, but not like that.
No, not like that. No. It's interesting though, because I saw one other performance of that, and that right there, it definitely topped it. I mean, that was great. All those touches.
Chilling, right? Like, oh no. Like there's so many oh no moments in that. It's so awesome.
Oh, when he pulls out the fabric and it rips, I've never seen anybody do that. I've never seen him.
It's so awesome.
I mean, he was literally, what's so great about it is, the classic knife through jacket, which I think you can find in Tarbell.
Right.
The classic knife through jacket doesn't have all that. It's just simply through the jacket and it's healed. But he added stuff where he was loading stuff into that little crevice so that he could produce, almost like loading a mouth coil into your mouth.
He had like stuffing and then lining, lace, black line. And then he did this thing where when he changed the angle of it, it looked like, he put it up on its side so he could like literally pull the fabric through, and it felt like it was being pulled through the seam, the actual real fabric.
He had another thing that I've never seen anyone else do either, which is he was pulling it through the other side and like throwing away garbage, right? It was going both ways, so it seemed like it was legitimately just a hole that he cut through the thing. And usually you only see people working on the other side, that visible side, but pulling from the other side and dropping garbage, that's, it's all those little touches together that make that complete illusion so strong. Really the best one.
By a long shot, right?
Yeah, really. It was just awesome.
I'm not sure where in Tarbell it is, but the basic, the basic.
That's kind of mean. Go check it out. Knife through the coat. It's in Tarbell.
Yeah.
One of those
always safe. You're always safe to say that.
Yeah.
That's probably true. Google's probably your friend on this one.
Yeah, Mike Caveney has it in his book Wonders. The basic idea, though, is that you have the knife and you're having to steal it back to the newspaper while it looks like you're going from behind. So that's how you get it to the front. But all those other touches about how he was loading that stuff, that's all secret and we don't really know.
Like, we're laughing because you're not going to feel like when you find that in Tarbell, like you're reading the trick that you saw there.
No.
You're going to feel like what you saw was an entirely different illusion with that idea in it somewhere.
You brought so much more to it.
Another great little tip that I have never seen someone do that too, where he takes the clip and he clips it in the front. And then when he put the jacket on and you have the guy turned around, it looks like there's a cut still in it. There was a lot of really visual magic happening in that piece, huh?
And there was hunks of stuff left over in the clip when he pulled it off. So the whole time it still looks like it's sliced and the guts of the coat are just hanging out, right? It's like, it's the perfect illusion till the very last moment when it's healed.
Ron Porter says, Tarbell, Volume 5, page 13. Thank you, Ron Porter.
Look at you, Ron.
There you go.
Thank you, baby.
Thank you, Ron Porter. I feel like that trick was so, it reminded me of a bill tear. Mullica wrote in his book that he kind of liked not restoring the bill tear. The bill tear was so believable, and it's such like a moment when you're like, And if you think about it, that's in the Transpo Tumbler too, right? Bob Reed, he gets a lot out of borrowing your stuff and then wrecking it. You know what I mean? And Mullica was saying in that bill tear that, I don't know, so I like to not even restore it. He just liked the laugh of ripping it up. And I sort of felt like right up to the last moment, I wasn't entirely sure he was going to restore it. It felt like the nature of it was as such where he might have just not. I was glad he did, because otherwise I felt like all that incredible magic was going to kind of go to waste. Because if you actually did that to a coat, it wouldn't be nearly that entertaining.
No, you'd just be a jerk.
I'm just saying it wouldn't even, like the theatricality of it.
Just be vandalism.
It's like watching a person get shot in a CCTV. It's not nearly as theatrical as it is in a movie when no one's getting hurt. You know what I mean? It's that's entertaining. But you know, real coats don't make it such a.
There's not so much potpourri.
Yeah.
So much flourish.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I'm so glad you picked this stuff, Alex, because you know, really, Bob Reed, there's less of him than there are a lot of guys that we can watch. But really, there's every single thing he did was the best of its kind. So we watched the best bottle production on earth, the best knife through coat on earth, and we watched the best version of the glass through table on earth. So you can't name anything from Bob Reed that isn't a superlative.